and today we wanted to bring you just some helpful training. Obviously, remote learning, distance meetings, Microsoft Teams tips and tricks from a Microsoft expert was what our goal here. We've got Abby Hanson. Abby is an employee of Ingram Micro. She has more than 17 years working directly with Microsoft partners and now Ingram Micro. She does these trainings, and we're happy to have her. Abby, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Great, thank you so much. It's great to see all of your faces. During this call this morning, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about security with Microsoft Teams, especially if you're looking at implementing it in your school. It's super important to know that back end of it. We'll also talk about what's coming with education and how it's actually going to help you within your school environment moving forward. And then we'll go ahead and dive into a demo. And just by a show of hands, if you see the bar on the bottom of your screen, there is a hand that you can raise. How many of you are currently on Microsoft Teams? I'm just going to go ahead and ask that you actually click that button on there. It's great that you're raising your hand, Brent, but I want to get you interactive. So you're up on Microsoft Teams. That's awesome. Perfect. Looks like a majority of you are, so this is great. I may not touch a lot on the security part of it though. I might just dive right into it if we're already there. Great, perfect. Okay, you guys can go ahead and unraise your hands. So just go ahead and click that button again. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. This is interactive, so at any time, if you have a question, feel free to go ahead and put it in the chat window or raise your hand. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. All right. Oh, yesterday I was working in my PowerPoint presentation, and you can see at the bottom that you can actually translate it directly into another language. So if you're working with your students, you can, translate into almost 59 different languages. So now it's going into Spanish for you. So I was having a little fun as well as I was getting ready for this presentation today. So it makes it kind of fun as an educator if you're a Spanish teacher and you want to speak in Spanish but translate it to English so that your students can understand you and learn it at the same time. There is a way to do that as well. So we're going to just keep it into Spanish because I don't have time to undo it because we only have an hour. But when we think about Microsoft Teams, we also have to think about security. I'm working with a lot of school districts right now across the nation, and they're really thinking about 3 different scenarios when it comes to school next year. They're thinking about in the classroom at the beginning of the year, hybrid, where half the students are in school and half are at home, or completely distance learning to begin with. And when this comes to mind, we don't know where our students are at with a network connectivity. Are their parents have the safe network set up for them? What's the hackability? So we really want to make sure that we have the right licensing in play for security, and with education that's already included. So I'm just going to go ahead and just zoom through these slides real quick. And you'll get this deck as well, so you can read through it as you look at the additional technology. Okay. So Microsoft Teams is the central hub for collaboration and teamwork. You guys are already on it, you're using it. So hopefully today you'll get a little bit more information on how you can use it within your classes. I have an education background, believe it or not. And so it's really fun for me to go outside the box when it comes to education. And once you can see the capabilities that Microsoft Teams can do, you're not going to want to leave the platform. Everything from websites to platforms, it all can be included in Microsoft Teams. And you're going to get insights on your students. So you know exactly how long they have been in a certain platform. So you know that they're doing their work. And I'm just going to go ahead and push mute because I am getting some feedback. So if you want to ask a question, feel free to come off of mute. All right. So there's currently over 80 million users using Microsoft Teams. This is huge. It's the most trusted platform out there. Everything inside the platform is secure and encrypted across the board. If your students are using their cell phones to do schoolwork because maybe they don't have a laptop at home, they can actually download the Teams app onto their phone. And so that is a great capability for them as well. So when we look at Microsoft Teams in education, you can see on the screen there was a 9x9. Microsoft Teams just announced that they're going to be moving it out to 49 attendees. A lot of the teachers and administrators have asked, hey, Abby, I can't see all of my students. How do I know it's actually them and that they're in class? This is going to solve it. You're going to be able to see your whole class in one location. And this is the preview is going to be available by the end of June, which means by the time you start school, it will be released to everybody. Along with the hand raise functionality, you should be able to run a classroom like you would if you were in person. So what's coming? There's going to be breakout rooms coming. So if you wanted to have small groups meeting, you can do that now. That is coming in the pipeline, should be released by school. You're also going to have class insights tab. So you are going to be able to use the intelligent data to highlight what they're learning and how they're engaging. And you're going to have that insights tab as part of your classroom environment. And then there's some other things coming as well. You already used the hand raise functionality in this meeting. Great job on finding it. You can upload your own custom video background, which I'm going to show you how to do that. You can change meeting options. So if you want to just be the presenter, but have your class in there as well as attendees, you can do that as well. I'm going to show you. You can do attendance reports, so you know when people joined and when they left. So you can have that attendance report for every class. That means it'll be nice. You don't have to say, hey, Sally, are you here? You'll know, you'll be able to see it there. And you can remove an anonymous user. This is big. We know there's some some security breaches across other platforms this year. When you remove an attendee that's an anonymous, they cannot rejoin. And so you guys can dive into all of these. You'll get these decks when I'm done. And then here's some resources for you that I put together. So 90 quick tip videos for education. This one is awesome. Talks about how to engage your students and empower them. Quick videos for group projects and things like that. Classroom experience in Microsoft Teams for education, and then how do you integrate your learning management solution into Microsoft Teams. Okay. So that's all the slides. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the demo. Are there any questions so far before we get set up there? And if you're on mute, you're going to need to come off of mute. And it looks like, Daniel, did you have a question? No, okay.
No.
Okay, with the PowerPoint, yep, we will definitely give you the PowerPoint. I'll go ahead and send it over to Mike and he can send it out to you, okay? And then there's other things too. So as you're teaching your teachers how to use it, there's teaching cues in there as well. I have it all written out for you. Okay, so the deck is more than what it seems, but now let's go ahead and get into the live demo. All right, so when you joined this environment. Soon it'll be 48 windows, which I think is crazy because I like shiny objects. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay attention in 48 windows, but at least it's coming for you as an educator to be able to see everything. But one of the really cool thing is in Rob, I'm going to go ahead and use you as an example. If I'm the instructor and I need to just pay attention to Rob, I can actually come to these 3 links here and I can pin him. So now Rob is the center. He is teaching the class. I can see everybody down below from a presentation standpoint. I can also go back to Rob and I can fit him to the frame if I wanted to see his whole office. Okay. When I unpin him, then it goes back to that 9-person view. And this will be nice for your students because if you have students that have a problem focusing, you can teach them this. One of the things I recommend is to have a parent meeting with your class before the school year starts to show them how to use the platform. Because if you are in a hybrid environment, this is going to help them to understand what is going on, okay? I know my kids use Zoom this year, and I hate saying the word, it gives me the chills, but they were clicking on everything and they didn't know what to do. And so I had to help them, right? So if we educate our parents, the tool is going to be more effective for your classroom as well. All right. Now here you can see when the meeting started, and it looks like somebody jumped on quite early this morning, but you can see that I started the recording. So if you have students who are sick, this is great, right? Because you're going to be able to record everything. It'll save up to Microsoft Stream, and then those students can actually go back and do the lessons. So they're not skipping a beat. Even if you're together in your classroom, you could still do this, and this is going to help those students retain that information. You have video here where you can turn it on or off. This is where you mute, and this is where you share your screen. And what's really neat about this sharing the screen is, yes, you can see my whole desktop, but if I wanted to share just a video, I could do that with sound. In the tray, when it pops up, there'll be a little box in this left-hand corner here that you can click. Make sure you click that for sound. That way you can have that still rich video experience like you would in a classroom if you had that TV in the front of the room. Okay, here are your other actions. So you can see your device settings here on the right-hand side where you can flip in between those. This is where you can test your camera. I know with classrooms that I'm working with across the US, they're looking at different cameras for those hybrid environments that can show the whole classroom. So if you're interested in devices, we can have that conversation with you as well. One camera that is amazing that can show the whole experience is the Jabra Pancast 180 camera. And so you can still see everybody at the same time. Okay. And I'm pretty agnostic on devices, but I have that one and I love it. So here you can see the your meeting details are right here. So if you accidentally drop, you can join again and have the information. You can enter into full screen mode where it's going to hide those applications on the bottom of your screen. You can have your background effects, and this is pretty fun. So Microsoft announced this about a month and a half ago where you could update and upload your own background. Previously, you could only do the background blur. Because I have so many, it takes a while for mine to load because I'm a Teams geek. So I have a lot of fun with it. But here you can upload your own new background by just clicking this plus sign, or you can use one of the pre ones that are there. Or you can upload. So I think I'm going to go be in Greece. Okay, so now I'm in Greece for the day. Kind of fun if you're a history teacher and you want to, show the different places you could, be back at the time of Teddy Roosevelt if you wanted to. So makes it kind of fun from that perspective. The next one is the live captions. Now, Microsoft loves to be inclusive, and it's so important because we have students that can't hear. Maybe they're going to have bad network connectivity. On the bottom corner here, you're going to be able to see it, read it, and hear it at the same time. You can enable this from the beginning of the conversation, and it's there for that experience. The other 2 weeks ago, I was talking to a vice president of a school district in New York, and she was working at her summer home already because school is canceled or you guys are doing hybrid learning, and her network was so bad, but it didn't matter because the speaking is coming from her end. So everything that came through, I could still read it. So we didn't skip a beat across the board, which was great. Okay. The next one here is the keypad. So we're able to dial in additional people, stop recording, end meeting, and then turn off incoming video. Okay. You all raised your hand already, which is great. You can see when you do raise your hand, especially on the screen sharing, if let's say Mike were to raise his hand, he would actually go to the top of the queue. So I would see him all the way at the top up here. If you raise your hand, so Norma and Brent, do you want to raise your hands real quick for me? Okay, you can see it shows up here as well on their screen here, and then it's going to show here. Down below, if one of these people were to raise their hand, it's going to show up at the bottom as well, which is great. Okay, thanks you guys. Now we're going to go ahead and go into chat. So this is the conversation that we have. This allows us to chat back and forth during our classroom setting, and great for student interaction from that standpoint as well. What I recommend, and I'll show you this in a minute, is we're in a meeting, but we can actually make this meeting reoccurring. So let's say we have history every Monday at 9 a.m. Make that a reoccurring meeting where your students are going to join. That chat history is going to follow you week after week. Okay? Any notes or presentations that you have will follow you week after week. And I'm going to show you what that looks like through a different chat setting. So I'm not necessarily going to go through these motions here right now. But what you can do during your meeting is you have different apps you can include. So let's say you wanted to do a survey of your class. You could use Poly or Microsoft Forms to do that. Let's say you're doing a group project meeting and it's a small group of like 6 people, you can assign out tasks. So each person within that group actually knows what they're responsible for. And then it can report back to you when they've completed their task. You can praise people during class. It's a great way for student engagement and for students to empower students, right? I love this functionality. Part of that 90 tips and tricks video series shows how Microsoft Teams can actually empower peer-to-peer interaction. And it's a great way. I love it from that perspective. Okay. Now, as we come back up over here, and I tend to go a little fast, so my Teams doesn't follow me sometimes, but we can actually show the participants. So I am able to see everybody that's in here. I had my hand raised, I took it off. If somebody were speaking and making noise, a purple circle would actually show up around their name. So you can actually go and mute that person, okay? You can remove that person here, you can pin them, and you can make them attendee. So if they're goofing off in your classroom, you can make them attendee and it's going to take some of their rights away, okay? So it's a way to actually kind of help have classroom management virtually. Up at the top here is where you can actually manage the permissions of your meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And you can do this before the meeting actually starts. And so if I were to come into my meeting, you can manage your meeting options here, or you can manage it from this link here, which I just showed you. And it's going to take you to the same place. So here you can see who can bypass the lobby. So you can change that. You can announce when a caller joins or leaves. And so you might want to have this on for a classroom environment and know when your students leave the classroom. And then who can present, you can change that there as well. Okay, so it gives you a little bit more control over your classroom environment. This button here allows you to download your attendance list. So when you click that button and it downloads, it will actually download into your downloads on your computer. So you can see here, this just downloaded, and here is my attendee list. I'm gonna go ahead and close that out. And I'm able to see when people join and leave the conversation. Okay, so that's all there. Questions so far? We'll go back. It looks like there's something in the chat. The live caption can be in different languages, right? You know, I don't know if it's moved through yet. I will get you the additional information, but I believe so. I know through the PowerPoint for sure it does the translation. In chat, you can translate as well, Emily. Okay. Let's see, where did you click to pull up the additional apps from? It's these 3 dots right here in the chat portion of it. But if you wanted to see all of the apps that were actually available for education, you can come over to this left-hand corner. We can pull up those apps, and you're going to be able to pull that up. Okay, and you can see if you click on education, all of these apps are here for you. Great question. Okay. Is it because, okay. Can students chat with each other privately? They can. I'm going to go ahead and show that. Yeah, but you can't see the download button because you didn't start the meeting, Rosalind. Can you show the video sharing with audio again? Okay. Yes, so you can do co-presenters. You would just come off of mute and one person would go ahead and handle that conversation with you. So let me just go ahead and show you where that conversation is. Okay. So here is the stop sharing button. If I stop to share, you wouldn't be able to see it, but when you click the share button and the tray pops up to do the sharing with audio of a video, in this corner when the tray comes up, there'll be a box there that says share with audio. You're just gonna wanna make sure that you click on that, okay? And Jasmine, did you have a question?
I did. For some reason, my little chat function isn't in my hand raise and the meeting participants. Any way to enable that?
Yep, you would have to do that behind the scenes through your admin portal, and Encore can help you with that. Okay. So we need to make sure that you're set up properly from the back end.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions before I move to the next section? And I will cover the chats with you as well. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead. And again, this is only if you're the presenter, you'll only have these options. So I'll just reiterate that. Up at the top, these are your settings. And these are the things that you can control. And so presence aware, first of all, you can change your photo. I recommend that all your students upload their photo. It's a great way to interact with each other. You have presence awareness, which goes across all platforms of Microsoft, and that's the beauty of it, right? Whether I'm on my cell phone, my iPad, my Surface laptop, in Outlook, in CRM, my presence is always there, so my coworkers know when I'm free or busy. The moment I go into present, I also go into do not disturb, which means that nobody can send me a chat where it's going to pop up here. It will just automatically go into the chat functionality. So it's not going to bother me, okay? You have available, busy, do not disturb, be right back, appear away. So that's there. You can set your own message here. I just put rocking teams today. If I was out of the office, my out of office message from Outlook is going to go into Teams as well. So people are going to know if I'm not available. You have your settings here as well. And so this is kind of nice from your standpoint. You can choose your theme. I like it dark. It's nicer on my eyes. This is where your applications go. You can set your languages and you can manage your delegates as well. You have privacy here. So who you can block as contacts, who has priority access. So if you're on do not disturb, let's say the principal needs to ping you, there's an urgent thing happening, make sure you have those people that can get through here, okay? Read receipts, leave this on, especially important. You want to know when your students have read your chat communications. So I recommend leaving this one on as well. And then the surveys here, this just asks how your call quality was. This is how Microsoft gets better. Questions? Okay, here's your notifications again. You can set these here. I leave everything pretty much as normal. Couple things I change is I turn off the notification sounds because I am the Teams expert here in Ingram. I get pinged a lot, and so I don't like the ding, 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 so I turn it off. Missed activity emails, I have it go over to my email every 10 minutes. And then down below, I mute my chat notifications just because a lot come through. Here again, you can test your devices before your meeting and test everything out. You have your permissions here. Just leave all of this green. And then you have your phone as well. So you can call internally to each other if you're all on Microsoft Teams. And if you have telephony included in your package, this would also set that up for you. So you're still going to want to make sure you configure your voicemail. Okay. Questions before I go to the next part? All right. Now, let's say you like to interact with other domains. This is where you would find them. This is just a drop down. So you can see Microsoft has me a part of their teams. And so you can actually switch in between different teams there. Here at the top are your commands. And so if you just do a /, you're going to be able to see all of the shortcuts here that you can go into. And so if you want to find out what's new with Microsoft in Teams, you can click on that. If you wanted to do a call or change your status to busy without actually going to presence, you can do that as well. So I just recommend that you play with that area. Okay. All right, now we're going to go ahead and go over to the activity section. And I'm not going to be able to see you now or your chat. So Mike, if there are some questions that come up, please let me know, okay? All right, so over here is the activity section. This is kind of like Facebook in a way. I lay in bed in the morning and I look at this to see what my day is going to look like. You can see that there is a feed going on. We use this for our, like when we win an opportunity or we have celebrations. And so you can see that we're wishing Kyle happy birthday, okay? So we have a string for that. We can also use this if you are mentioned. And so let's see where I am mentioned in something. probably a ways down there, but you can see when people like your messages here as well. So you can see when action has happened within your teams. If you're in Teams all day, and I am 95% of my day, sometimes I forget when I have sent something out to somebody or where it was located. This is all of the activity that I have done. And so I can actually go back and forth here versus going through all of my Teams channels and chats to find what I've actually participated in. Okay. Now here's the chat section. Down below here, you can see we are in this meeting. I'm going to go ahead and pin it to the top. Now, this meeting here can be reoccurring like we spoke about earlier, okay? And we can chat through this meeting for our class, for example. Any files that we share in this class will be saved here up in the files, and we can even whiteboard. So if we wanted to do math problems together in Microsoft Teams, we're going to be able to do that here. And the whiteboard is loading. I also have the whiteboard on my desktop, which I can connect if I wanted to pull it up. I can save it, and I'm going to be able to whiteboard here as well. The whiteboard app on my desktop gives me a little bit more functionality from inserting pictures, adding text, etc. Okay. All right, so when we come back to the chat here, I'm going to show you some chat functionality here, but then I'm also going to go ahead and start a chat to show you what that looks like. So chat in a meeting, we're able to actually format our chat. So I'm just going to go hello here. If I wanted to add emphasis, I could bold it. I could put it in a paragraph. I can insert links. It's just like a Word document. The next thing I can do is I can insert a document for collaboration, and I'm going to show you how that works through another chat, but you can do that here. So let's say you're doing group projects and you want all of your students to do a group project in PowerPoint. All of your students are going to be able to collaborate on the document at the same time. It'll be located in one place, and you're going to be able to see when those students have completed what areas of that PowerPoint for that presentation. You can have some fun in your meetings by adding emojis. You can add GIFs, and I always just do the first one. I'm going to go ahead and send that through. You can also add in stickers or memes just to make it fun. Okay. So it's a great way for collaboration. Microsoft Stream is a video aspect of it. I'll show you that during the other chat as well. You can send praise. So if we wanted to praise people that were in the meeting, we can do that. So we could say, whoops, have my cap on. Raphael is in the meeting. He's one of my peers here at Ingram Micro. I can just say way to go, and then I can preview it, and then we can go ahead and send praise. And this is a way to encourage peer-to-peer relationships as well as, you know, student to teacher as well. The next is project management tools. This is just an app that I included. You can put in your weather, so it's just a fun way for people to interact. I actually sit in Fargo, North Dakota, believe it or not. You can put in YouTube videos. Your forms, your tasks are included here. And again, all of your different apps. Okay. So that is the chat that stays there. And this chat, again, will follow you. And I'll show you how you can set up that recurring meeting. Now, if we come up to the top, we can actually start a new chat. In this new chat, I'm going to go ahead and put Raphael on here. So you're going to be my guinea pig, please. And I'm going to put Leanne as well, because I see that she's in the meeting. Okay. Now, we can do what's called a group chat. So let's say you guys have pods for school, and let's say you have a history pod. Okay. We're going to go ahead and just name it, and you guys work on your lesson plans together. I'm going to type hello. You can see that it's automatically named history. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pin this to the top because I want to be able to work on this on an ongoing basis. I don't want it to disappear, so I pin it to the top. I see the chat function now. Thanks. Perfect. Great, Jasmine. Okay. So Jasmine and Leanne, if you're on and you hear me, you can see that they read it and it was seen by everybody. So it will actually tell me that. I can go in here to this chat. It can translate it. So that if, let's say I have English as a second language student, they can translate it into their language. So education can still happen. You also have immersive reading. So I can go here, pull up immersive reading. So students that need additional help, I can do that, and it's going to play it for me. Okay, so that's a great way to interact with your students as well. And then you can see by these 3 dots that you can actually see who read the message. As a teacher, I think this would be important because you want to make sure everybody knows maybe your syllabus or whatever for the day. Okay, so there's a bunch of things that you can do within the chat. Now here on this side, we're going to go ahead and show you how we can actually collaborate on documents. And Raphael and Leanne, I would love your help here if you can hear me. Now we can upload this document here, and when we open this document, we're going to be able to edit this document together in one place. I'll know that they're in here because their pictures and their initials are going to show up right here. So if we wanted to, we could go in here and edit this document at the same time together. Okay, because of the cool AI, it's pretty easy. We're going to be able to go in here and we could change this actually to education. Okay. If Leanne and Raphael were in here, you would actually see where they were at because it would be a different color around their name. Okay. And then if we, yep, so now you can see he just joined the conversation, Raphael did. Thank you for joining. And then we have the new slide that we can add in here, and then your students can work together. So collaboration is happening on the fly. Conversation is open, so we're actually able to go back and forth to talk about the conversation. And because it's saved in Microsoft Teams, there's no save button. It automatically saves it for you. Okay. Questions at all on the collaboration portion? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close out. Go back to the chat. And now just to prove it to you, when I click on this, everything was automatically saved. Okay. And it looks like the slide was deleted. So we're back to 1. There we go. Here it comes. There it is. Perfect. All right. So we're going to go ahead and go back into the chat. And you can see here, as part of here, up at the files section, it was automatically saved here. Okay, so you're not going to have to go search for it anywhere. Everything is included. Now down below, we went through a couple more of these, but I want to show you Microsoft Stream. So I know when I was a teacher, I had my kids do video projects all the time, but that was with an old camcorder, right? That was 20 years ago. It's kind of scary. But you can actually have them like use their cell phones and do some pretty cool things, like say video they're part of their history project, and then have them combine it as part of a video project using Microsoft technology. And so if I'm in this conversation, just to show you how easy it is, I have it pulled up on my cell phone. And if I click the camera in the left-hand corner, and by the way, if you don't have the Teams app downloaded on your phone yet, do it. If I click on camera, down below, you'll have video, photo, document, whiteboard, and business card. The document portion of it is great. I actually used Microsoft Teams to send in my kids' assignments, just that photo functionality, because it scans better than a scanner. And not every parent has a scanner at home. So it's a way to submit assignments or upload them into files that they have within their Microsoft Teams channel. So if I go to the video here, you're going to actually be able to see how cool and easy it is. And I'm in my office. Good morning, sun. So it's shining to bright a little bit. And that's going to go ahead and upload there. Okay. So you'll be able to see that on the fly. Okay. So that's a great way for you to interact with your students. They can do their book reports and upload them, and people can watch them as a group versus doing it live if they're shy. It's actually a way to empower them too. Okay. Then up here, you're able to add and delete people. So let's say Leanne didn't need to be a part of the conversation anymore. I could actually remove her. Or let's say I wanted to include somebody else, I can do that as well. And then I'm going to be able to choose how much of the conversation they see. Do we want them to see it all, a part of it, or just a little bit of it? Okay. I can share my screen directly from this chat, do a call immediately, or do a video call. Okay. And then you can also add apps. So if they're working on a group project, chat sometimes is the best way to do it versus a team. You can do everything you could in a team here. So if we needed to look at this PowerPoint every day until our project was done, we could actually pin that up here and work on that together. All right. Questions on chat before I move to Teams? Come over here quick. All right, get ready for some fun. Wake up. Just kidding. I know it's summer for you. So we're going to go up over here, and I built out this education demo. So in the education demo, this is the name of the team. Okay. Everybody you invite to the team is automatically included in the general section. Okay. So you can see I don't have anybody invited because it's a demo, but if you did, you would be able to see everybody who was a part of it over here in the right-hand corner, okay? Now you can see as part of this beginning team, I've built out my demo environment to include those quick videos, classroom experiences, etc. But if we go all the way up to the top, you can set your mission here. So like, let's go over here. See, I've been in here a while. Welcome to the semester. I can actually go ahead. I can translate this. I can share this to Outlook. So if my students are going to need the email first, and then you can point them to Teams, it's a way for you to interact between the two of them. Okay. And then you can save this message. So if I wanted to save this message, that would be saved as well. All right. So it's a great way for you to interact, do daily announcements, etc. for your classroom environment here. Then you have your file section. So you can upload email messages, group projects, etc. Have everything in one location. You can do your announcements. Maybe you have school announcements that you upload. You can also include OneNote. Now, OneNote is great for Microsoft Teams, and especially for education. This OneNote is tied directly to your OneNote on your desktop, and then it will upload here. So you can see here, I just kind of built some things out like a syllabus, class notes, required reading, resources, group projects, frequently asked questions. And so it's a way for you to build that in together. If you were to look at my OneNote, for example, you're going to be able to see, here's that education demo that's here. So if I actually wanted to go ahead and go in here and build it out, I could. Okay. Up here at the top as well, I have a class survey, and I just use Microsoft Forms for this, but this is also a way for you to build out quick tests and quizzes. If you do this though, don't have the responses here, have your own tests and quizzes channel and make it private, and I'll show you how to do that. You can include websites, so it can bring it directly to there for research. I put in, my kids used Epic this year for reading. They actually logged in here to do their reading. I have Happy Numbers Math. So kids don't have to go anywhere else. They know exactly what their expectations are and when they're in there. And then I put in, you know, Microsoft Teams resources, which is another OneNote, but you can see how I built this out. And then you have other things too, like the Microsoft Education Center, which you're going to get the links for all of this is included here. So how to use all of this within your classroom. Okay. Now over here, you can see I have private channels, and private channel has a lock on it. So let's say you have a private channel for you and each of your students. This is a great way for them to hand in lesson plans, for example, or you have your grades there where the grades are between you and the administrator, student files, teacher lesson plans. You can really build this out to an extensive manner. Okay, questions? Okay, now when you join or create a team, you can do this down below. Super easy to do. You just click join or create a team, and you can create that team. You can build a team from scratch or create it from an existing template. Microsoft has some existing templates for education. It's just so much to show right now. And because I don't have an education license, I can't show you, but those links that I have provided to you will show you how to do that. You have private teams and you have public teams. So let's say you have a multiple classes of history, but different grades. You may want to make that a private team and just the students in that grade can join it. So we're going to go ahead and just name this history. I'm going to go ahead and create. I'm going to be able to go ahead and add my students in here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and skip it. And then you can see how quickly that team was set up right from here. Okay. Then down below you have your general section. Again, anybody who's invited is there. This is private. But if I even wanted to add another extensive layer to it, I can add a channel. And in that channel, I'm just going to go first hour. And then I'm going to go ahead and make it private again. And then click next. Okay. So then that's when that lock shows up on there as well. All right. In here as well, let's say I get an email. I can actually get an email address and I can email the channel, which is great because let's say you do pods as teachers and you get an email from the principal and you want to discuss it, you're going to be able to like move that to Teams and discuss it as a group, which is kind of great. Okay. My thing is taking a little to generate, but you're able to email directly from there. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Questions so far? The other part I wanted to show you, so here you can see that you can email the channel, get a link to the channel, manage it. You can set your notifications here. But up here, you can leave the team, etc. Okay? When you're in the general section and you click on files, this is actually saved on a SharePoint backend. So in Teams, all your documents are saved in SharePoint. When you're in a chat, it's actually saved in your OneDrive, which is your personal information. So every time a team is created, a SharePoint site is automatically created. And so you're going to be able to see all of that in the back end. Okay. All right. So that is teams and channels. Questions? All right, Microsoft also has Yammer Communities if you wanted to integrate that. Ours is automatically pinned here in Ingram Micro, so we can actually go back and forth. This is more of a creative environment where we're doing testing and development. You have your calendar here, and so you can see you have a bunch going on, but you know when your meetings are starting because it automatically includes join. If I wanted to do a new meeting, I could do this. So let's say we wanted to meet in the history class every Friday. We could actually repeat this if we wanted to do it daily. As long as I'm creating it in that history channel, so I'll just show it from the education demo section, I don't need to invite anyone. I don't have to put their names here because they're already a part of that team. And so that's already done. Location would be Teams, and I don't have to put anything here. And once I send it, it's automatically going to go ahead and show up on my calendar. And then that reoccurrence is going to show up here week after week. When I open it up, everybody who's included is there, including the join the meeting. Okay. And then you're going to be able to see as it builds out, you'll be able to see the chat for that meeting. You'll be able to see the details, and this will continuously build out with the files, the whiteboard, everything because of the AI that's built into it. I'm going to go ahead and just cancel that off of there. The next is the phone call part. Here you can set up your speed dials. If you have the telephony portion, again, you can create new groups with contacts. Yep.
Abby, going back to your creating meetings, there is a question out there by Elizabeth. Can you create meetings in a private channel?
It is not released yet, but it is coming. That's a great question. So if you were to break it down, you can create it in a private team, just not a private channel. So if your class met every day. So yeah, I know it's in the works. And if you wanted to request it, you could just go down here to help. And the more people that put that they want it, the quicker it will come. That's how the 48 windows are coming. Great question. Back to calls here. You are able to see your contacts, your history, and your voicemail. Your voicemail actually transposes for you, and it'll transpose to Outlook as well. And then you can make calls out of here if you have that portion enabled. All right. Here you have the file section, so you can actually see everything you worked on from the files. Because Ingram Micro is built in a OneDrive environment, I never lose anything via the blue screen of death, which is awesome. So if that's something you want to enable, they're going to be able to do that for you as a partner. Anything that's worked on in Microsoft Teams will show up here from all of my teams and channels. So this takes a little bit to load. And then my downloads. Here's my meeting attendee list that I downloaded 28 minutes ago. And then my OneDrive is here as well. Yep, coming back to it. You got it.
All right.
I know my school has been using the calendar function to invite teachers to meetings. Do you suggest using the Teams function instead? You can use both. If it's because it shows you their presence and everything, you're going to be able to see it. If you're going to tie it to a team or a channel, you're going to want to do it via Teams. Yep, great question.
Can I actually ask one more question? Sorry.
Absolutely, that's what we're here for.
Are you allowed, when you create a team, is it just your like in your district, or you can put in any email address like for parent? Because that's, I know we struggled a little bit with that since closure. The calendar function, we were able to invite others, and I just want to make sure Teams also allows people outside of this district.
Yep, it does. Yep, you can invite guests
Perfect.
to the meetings. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, and that's how you're all on here, right? Is you're not federated with me, but you used my meeting link, and so we're integrating quite well here. And then parents are able to join via the web, their phone, or a desktop. And for parents, you can recommend that they just download the app because it's free, right? And that'll be a great way for you guys to communicate with one another. Yeah, great question. Over here as well, I have my OneNote pinned because I'm in there all the time. And then there's some other things that are there. If you have questions down below, you can actually go to do training. So these are all snackable videos. And if your students are struggling, show them these. Because then they're going to be able to ramp up quickly, like chat and share files. How do I do that? 3-minute read. So these are great training basics that are available for them. All right, questions. That about concludes it for right now. I'm going to go ahead and quit sharing so I can see all your pretty faces and able to show anything else that you have questions on. It looks like somebody, Jasmine, your hand's raised again. Did you have another question?
No, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Don't worry. Do you see this being helpful in your classroom? Have some big ideas on how you can work better within your environments? All right. Well, if you have any other questions, this chat will be open. I'll leave it open for a week on my end. Feel free to ask the question in the chat or reach out directly to Mike and his team, and they can help you as well. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it back over.
Real quick, there are 3 hands raised. I just want to make sure there's questions there. Rob?
Yeah, my general question is related to the generation of teams automatically through Azure AD or AD specifically. Is that possible, or is this a manual creation?
Microsoft. So it automatically creates it. When you create the team, everything has an Azure AD backend from that perspective. So you have the security functionality and everything that happens there. If you don't want free liberty of the teams to be created, you can do that through PowerShell and Azure Active Directory. And that's where you would control some of those security settings as well.
So I guess more specifically then, could I generate a group, say, for first grade? And then that when I generate a team, that team is generated for that group, and everybody in that group is in that team automatically.
Yep, you should be able to do that.
Okay.
Yep. That's a great question. Daniel. Oh, you're on mute, Daniel. So go to the bar and go ahead.
I thought I unmuted it.
You're okay. You're good.
This is a very simple question. I was looking at it on my laptop screen, so you wouldn't see me looking away, and I could hardly see a lot of what was being done when you were going through the lesson. Since this is being recorded, how do I get to the recording?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and send it to Mike, and he'll upload it with a link, and he'll get that out for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And Tamela, did I say that right? I apologize if I butchered your name.
It's Tamala, like Pamela, but with a T.
Perfect, thank you.
About the reoccurring chat. So when you set up that reoccurring scheduled meeting, the chat will automatically reoccur every week. Is that what I'm understanding?
It will, yep. It'll follow you every single week, so that you can actually go back and say, hey, we covered this last week. Here's the information that's there for you.
Okay.
And one thing I forgot to show you actually is the new functionality. So we did this history. If you can actually have multiple chats going on at the same time now, because you can pop those out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have 3 monitors, so I could actually move that to a different monitor and still focus on the meeting that I need at hand.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely a handy function for those who came from the Skype world where they had different windows per chat.
I miss that so much. Yep, I've been on every platform. So other questions? Let me go back over here. Daniel, did you have another question?
Guess not.
All right. Any other questions we can help with? We have 6 minutes left. This is your time. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you for joining, and I'm going to go ahead and hand it back over to Mike.
Thanks everyone for joining. We're going to do these regularly. We're not typically going to do them every month, but we just because of timing and need, we're actually going to do one next month as well. And this will be on remote connectivity solutions. I know there's a lot of students who do not have internet in their area, or it's tough to get LTE. Individual students don't have internet at their homes. So we're going to be covering, for those this is relevant to, we're going to be covering some remote connectivity solutions that can be dropped into a given area versus driving a bus with a cradle point on it and having to sit out in a general area. So if that interests you, look for our next invite for Tech Tuesday for next month. Hopefully this was helpful. I will, for everyone who registered, I will send the links out that Abby mentioned. Abby, we really appreciate you. And finally, if you did not register, but you just happen to join in some other way, if you want to email me directly, my email address is mharris@EncoreTG, Tom Gable, Technology Group.com. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Thank you.